Hello lovelies and welcome to a new video. I have a scrapbook layout here featuring the Boho Beauty collection once again, and today's layout is actually based off a sketch that I came across while I was watching YouTube videos. This is the sketch here. I saw someone create a layout with this gorgeous sketch. Now it's funny because it's not a sketch I probably would have picked for myself if I had have found the sketch online. But when watching the video, I really loved what was done with this sketch. So I thought I would give it a go. Now, I grabbed out all the florals for this that I got in my creative team kit. And I also did a lot of fussy cutting. I fussy cut a lot of leaves and flowers and all sorts of things. So yeah, it was a great layout. This is actually one of my favorite. I think this is my most favorite layout that I've made from this collection, and probably one of my most favorite in general. So this is me attempting to add some white cardstock to just a little bit of that pink. I wanted to just have a little bit of that pink peeking through because the photo I'm going to use has a lot of green in it. No, it doesn't. No, it's not green, it's blue. You'll see in a minute, but I did want some of that pink to contrast. I am going to use some watercolors for the heart, and this is my photo. This is Ruby on the swings. It's one of those parent and toddler swings, so I was on the other side. So as I've taken the photo, I've taken it as she was in the air, so I just love her face on this. It just says pure joy to me, and that is exactly what I end up calling this layout. So I've just drawn with a mechanical pencil, so just a quick light pencil line. I've drawn my heart, and then I'm going to go in with some watercolors because I did want this heart to be in watercolor. On the video I watched on YouTube, they used paper layers, but I wanted watercolor. And I went with pink because, as you can see, she's in a pink dress, and yeah, it was just what I went with. And I'm adding some splatters. You know me, it's got to be messy. I love messy mixed media, messy watercolor. A lot of this does get covered with my cluster, so it just sort of all ties together beautifully. I'm drying and adding more paint as I go, and then I have run it through my Mink machine. Purely because I don't like the warping. It annoys me when my layers are warped. I am going over my heart again with a black pen just because it needed a bit more definition and some more texture. And also it's going to tie in with some of the outline that I've done on some of the flowers as well. And it's just so my heart isn't just flat. So it gives it a bit more texture and a bit of dimension. And then I've added some more black splatters just to bring in that black somewhere else in the layout. Now I'm going to put my photo down because I want to put my clusters around my photo. And I did want to have some dimension to my photo, so I'm using foam, just some craft foam. My photo is 3x4 in size, and that actually works out perfectly because it doesn't take up too much of my heart and still gives me lots of space to add my clusters and all my flowers. It's not too small but not too big that it takes over the heart or gets lost. I contemplated the Dreamcatcher for a while, but it just didn't work. Now I'm going to start with my clusters. I had so many other things out, all of my bits and pieces and chipboard and that I was going to add to my clusters, but in the end I just loved the flowers themselves and adding a bit of bling. So yeah, like I said, I love this layout. It just turns out beautifully. So I'm starting with the pre-made clusters of flowers, and that's just a really good base to start building on. So these are pre-cut in a pack of embellishments, and it's a great starting point. So it's given me all the colors, all the flowers, and just a great place where I can start building from. Like I said, I fussy cut a lot of individual flowers and leaves from some of the pattern papers, and I'm just going to start tucking things in. I'm gluing them down, and then I'm going to start adding to them. As you can see up the top there on the left side, it's covering up the part of that splatter that I felt was just a bit too messy. And so it all ties together beautifully, as you can see. And I've got a tiny little cluster over here. I'm following the sketch pretty much to the letter, although I did realize I forgot on the sketch it's stitching. I don't stitch, but I would have drawn a hand border, but I did forget that part, but it still works for me. But yeah, pretty much I'm sticking to the sketch quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, I'm sticking to the sketch. I had a lot of fun building these clusters. I do enjoy tucking flowers here and there and just building on clusters. I've got lots of little bits and pieces that I've fussy cut, and I'm just tucking them all in. I haven't put any dimension behind any of these. I'm not quite sure why I didn't. I guess I felt it didn't need it. The only dimension is my photo. It's popped up, as I said, on some foam, craft foam, but I just love my clusters, how they turn out. I am branching out of that white space onto some of the pink, just so it all blends in and looks, it continues the unity. Ugh, words are no worky today. But yeah, I just felt it was it needed to hang over into that pink just to sort of tie it all together. I really did feel like this was the perfect sketch and perfect collection for this photo. It just screams out. I don't know, when I use this collection, I'm using a lot of outdoor photos. I think, obviously the flowers and the leaves, but just the colors and the feel of the collection, just especially all the pictures I have of Ruby outside, they're just so carefree and it suits this collection beautifully. So I'm having a lot of fun. Of course, I'm adding some bling to my clusters, just using some clear rhinestones. I've got to add a bit of sprinkly bits here and there. And now I'm going to work on my title, and I was considering the small foam thickers, but they were too small. I wanted my title to be bigger, and I did know my title was going to be Pure Joy. That's what her face says to me. Like, who doesn't love the swings, but just that face. So I'm using the chipboard black thickers, and it just really pops off that white space in the background. There's not a lot of black in the layout, but there's just enough. But that title just really pops right out, and I do love that. These stickers are very old, so they do require glue. I do have to glue them down when I use them. So yeah, I just cut that out. But this is my layout, and I love it. I absolutely adore this layout. It's one of my absolute favorites. And I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. It didn't take me all that long, but it was so much fun to make. Well, thanks for watching. Bye for now.